Um, okay, so hi, I'm Joseph Shamella. I'm your Scrum Master.
Hi, I'm Nico Turillo. I'm the product owner.
Hi, I'm Nick Wilkie. I'm the front-end developer.
Hi, I'm Alex Neal. I'm the backend developer.
And this is our report for Sprint 1. So, just as a brief update, Sprint 1 allowed our project to take major leaps in implementing its core functionalities, such as user authentication and listing the available clubs to join. We've found so far our team meetings to be very productive, being able to collaborate with each other and get lots of features implemented. And our team has been working well together using our specific strengths. So, for example, like Alex had very strong background in front end development, so he has been working more on that. While Nico was more experienced using GitHub, so that helped us to learn GitHub as a team. And Nick was actually working with the database and the actual join clubs list. So everybody's been contributing in their own ways, which has been really beneficial. And here you can see our product backlog for Sprint 1. So user authentication is nearly complete with just small adjustments needed. I'm not sure if in between now and or when we made the presentation and now we actually are pretty much done with it. We just need to make sure that everything's working and fully test it. Creating account is able to connect with the SQL database and add entries as needed, which is good. Logging in is also working as it's able to search the SQL database to make sure that the username and password are valid. And our club list is fully complete, displaying all the clubs that are or organizations that are at UF from the SQL database. We were able to pull that right from the UF website.
Okay, so the front-end back-end connection we'll be demonstrating today is our club database implemented into our Join Clubs page. As you can see in Figure 1, we have an SQL database with all of UF's clubs. We're currently storing around 1,000 of them. There are names and descriptions for each club, and we'll eventually also store social media links and upcoming events there as well. And then in Figure 2, you can see our front end pulls from the database and displays all of the clubs in the list on the Join Clubs page. And this is where users will eventually be able to search and filter their clubs as well. So we have a demonstration of all of that real quick. I'll show some code, then I'll show the website itself. So let me pull this up real quick. Here is our club scraper. We use this to populate our database by pulling the clubs and descriptions from the UF website.
Nick, we can't see it.
You can't see that?
No. I think it's just because you're just sharing the.
Oh, I thought I had the whole screen shared.
Yeah.
My bad. Let me try and fix that. Okay. You guys see it now?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So here is the club scraper that we use to pull the clubs from the UF database. This is to populate our initial database of all the clubs that currently exist, but eventually users will be able to create their own clubs, and that'll also add to the database as well. So here we have the function that connects the database to the code. We have an insert function, and the insertions happen down here. And then in the HTML file, we use the Django to iterate through the database and add a box for every club in the database. And I'll also go ahead and show off the website real quick, just to see that in action. Let me share that as well. Okay, so here's the website. If we go to join clubs, you can see that all the clubs are listed here. We don't have pages yet, but they're all on just one page. And also, we didn't have this when we made the document initially, but the search function works now as well. So if I type in Gator here, click enter, it shows all the clubs with Gator in them in the database. So yeah, that is our demonstration. I'll go back to PowerPoint now. You guys see the PowerPoint? Is it good? Okay.
Okay, so this is a look at our Sprint 2 product backlog. On the right, we can see our our table of high priority items, medium items, and low items. Our highest priority item that still needs to be completed is our user authentication, which is nearly complete, and the ability for users to join clubs in the database. Joining clubs is not estimated to take long. We need to establish a connection with the user info and the clubs in the SQL database. Searching clubs is our last high priority item, which we see we've already completed. And after our high priority items, we're going to move on to the medium and low priority items and then work on polishing the website itself. All right, so this is our Kanban board. It shows our backlog items in orange. Like we already talked about, fully finishing, implementing user authentication, etc. It shows our doing what we're currently doing in yellow, completing user authentication, polishing results. And then after that, we're going to move on to the blue, the up next, allowing users to click on listed clubs and join them. We already have the search function, so now we just have to work on the join. And in our green, we can see our completed items, set up and establish web pages and design, implementing lists to join clubs, and connecting Django with web pages and SQL database.
All right, so what are some issues we ran into and what are our immediate next steps? While we were working, there were a couple things, mostly that come from the learning curve of using different software and tools that set us back a little bit. So, for example, getting started with the Git and GitHub workflow took some time. We kind of had to work out how branches worked and how we were going to use them specifically for our group to keep everything organized and everybody on their task. But eventually we got it figured out and we're all more experienced GitHub users for it. Next up, implementing the user authentication took a little more time than we expected. We had to work with Django's like built-in authentication app and kind of learn how that works. And we also had to learn a bit about how Django uses forms to capture user input and how to connect that to our database. But again, we learned it and we are all more experienced Django users now. And our immediate next steps are going to be to really test the user authentication, make sure everything's working with it, make the UI a little cleaner for it. Like we've talked about, we've implemented the search function for the clubs. And finally, and kind of most importantly, next up is to be able to join clubs and have that information stored to the database as a kind of membership item in the database. And that's our presentation.
It looks good. Can you go back to the demonstration part?